Call this meeting to order. Pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance.
The flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gonna call this special meeting.
Did he shut that door?
Yeah.
He's this side of the door.
Who is it?
It's our officer and Jim.
Ask him to.
Can you guys sort of move that way or lower your volume?
Okay, call this special meeting, to open for the Adam Heikler FOIA appeal. Would you read it for me, please,
Do you want
Joy?
to do a roll call?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I'm speeding along too fast here, yeah. Roll call,
Supervisor Johnson,
present.
Clerk Bronco, here. Treasurer Davis. Here. Trustee Blanchard,
Here.
Trustee McKay,
Here.
Trustee Hoskins. Here. Trustee Menke, excuse, 6 present.
No, he's here, isn't he?
He's not.
He's on Zoom.
Well, that makes him here, don't it?
It doesn't count. No.
No,
6
he can't
present.
participate electronically.
Oh, okay, okay, 6 present then, right?
So this is dated, the April 1st of 2026. Dear Ms. Bronco and Supervisor Johnson, I'm writing to formally appeal the fee estimate associated with my Freedom of Information Act request dated March 12th, 2026. Pursuant to MCL 15.240A of the Michigan Freedom of Information Act. The township's fees estimate relies primarily on charges for contracted legal labor to review and separate exempt from non-exempt information. This use of contracted legal services is improper under NCL 15.2343, which requires that a public body utilize the lowest paid employee capable of performing the work. The statute permits the use of contracted labor only if the public body does not employ a person capable of separating exempt from non-exempt information in the particular instance. The township has not demonstrated that it lacks personnel capable of performing this task. The records requested consist of routine internal email communications, which do not require specialized legal analysis and are commonly reviewed and redacted by clerical or administrative staff within public bodies. The use of an attorney in this instance appears to be a matter of internal policy or preference rather than necessity, which is not permitted under the Act. Further, in a prior substantially similar FOIA request submitted to the township, attorney fees were initially assessed but later withdrawn, and the records were produced with minimal burden. This prior handling demonstrates that the township is capable of processing similar requests without reliance on contracted legal labor. Additionally, the estimated 3 hours of review time appears excessive given the nature and scope of the request. FOIA requires that fees be limited to the actual incremental cost of processing a request and must be reasonable and based on the specific circumstances. For these reasons, I respectfully request that the township, number 1, recalculate the estimate using only the allowable cost under NCL 15.234, utilizing the lowest paid employee capable of performing the work. Number 2, remove all charges associated with contracted legal labor unless the township can specifically demonstrate in writing that no capable employee exists for this task in this instance. Number 3, provide a revised detailed itemization consistent with requirements of the Act. I request that this appeal be decided administratively in writing pursuant to NCL 15.240A. I do not waive my rights if a meeting is scheduled. Sincerely, Adam Heckler.
Mr. Heikler, do you have any additional information that you'd like to present to the board?
make comments.
Have at it, sir.
It's not a new information or necessarily, but. Thank you. My appeal is focused on the fee calculation, specifically the use of the contracted labor for redaction under MCL 15234. 3. The township is required to use the lowest paid employee capable of performing the work and may only use contracted labor if it does not employ a person capable of separating exempt from non-exempt information. The records requested are routine internal email communications, and redaction of these records is a standard administrative task. Based on that, I do not believe the use of contracted labor is necessary in this instance. I'm asking that the fee be recalculated in accordance with the statute. Thank you.
Court, could you,
Want me to help out?
Since you're,
So there's kind of a problem generally, and this isn't connected to the request. Like DC3 is charging the township $600 flat rate for any FOIA request. Okay, and we were under the impression at one point that if my office made the request, that fee would be waived. And I guess that's not the case. So like township's getting $600 off the top, and that's not calculated the cost. You can't get that back. Cost. Okay, so that's out of our control. And I don't know how many emails there are between board members, between that time frame. And I do believe there's probably some emails from my office that would fall under that went to the board, maybe during that time period that could fall under attorney-client privilege. The thing with FOIA is this happens everywhere. This isn't specific to Bedford. It's a transparency law, and then it always comes back to the cost estimate. I don't want to be a block for that. Okay, like I want people to be able to get their records. You're getting $600 charged that none of us have control over, and then the attorneys at my office who do the cost estimate, they do it based on the lowest paid employee at the township. That's the hourly rate, and it usually is accurate. And even if it's a little high, the requester is reimbursed the difference, so it's not they're not going to be out the money. But just getting back to Adam's statement where it said have the supervisor review it administratively, like that is an option. Okay, right now the township's policy isn't that it comes in front of the board. If the township were to change its policy, and I think that if you did review it, I think that should probably be done a board meeting, not that. But what that would do is it allows the supervisor to just do it administratively, like review it and then decide it. In other words, you don't need to have a special meeting. It happens a lot faster. Like I think when the appeal came in, it probably could have been handled the next day or so, and instead we're kind of going through this. So, that's a policy decision that the board makes. Whether you want to have it coming from the board for decisions on how to reduce, or whether you want the office of the supervisor to do it administratively. Okay, I mean, but as with anything, there's pros and cons to everything. So that would be a decision that you'd like to make. Again, last time, like I had no problem reducing the fees. And again, I don't want to be a block to any requester, no matter who it is. And I feel that if it was something that was handled administratively, like Randy and I could probably have dealt with this pretty quickly and just got on the records, and there might not be a need for this. So I do believe my office did do a good faith cost estimate, but it's just like last time, I don't have a problem of reducing that if you think if it makes sense for given the circumstances. Given that there may be attorney-client privilege communications, like that does need legal review. But even if I'm copied on an email, if there's no legal advice in there, the email isn't automatically excluded, from FOIA. It's only when there's legal advice contained in there, then that part is going to be excluded. Like the record's still produced, but then the legal advice is redacted out. So sometimes that's where you see that the reason why the township wants to go over to the attorney. But everyone's getting a lot of FOIAs right now, and on my end, I'm trying to get people their records, and I don't want it to be a block. I don't want a cost estimate to be a block. And again, when you get a $600 flat rate, like that's something that we can't control, and that factors into that. And, you know, you have to decide, you're never gonna defray all of the costs from FOIA requests. That's not really how it works. But if I can help with getting Adam's records and reducing the cost estimate, I'll do that. I'm not, you know, that's not what we try to do. I'm not here to try to make things harder for Adam or anybody else. FOIA. So that's my I guess that's my statement on it. However you want to how to handle that, I'm happy to do. You know, we keep coming back sometimes on these appeals, and that's the requester's right. There's nothing wrong. But I do want him to be able to get, or any requester to be able to get their records, you know, as quickly as cost effectively. So the process. When I say cost effectively, I mean that for both the requester, but also for the township, right? I don't want the township to become, you know, unnecessary costs. Do you think there's a lot of emails between that time frame? Like that you said it would have been February 1st to March 12th. Do we think there's a lot?
I have no idea.
Do you think?
Okay. What was the dates again? I'm sorry.
So it was, I'll read his request, specifically requesting copies of all email communications sent between township board members from February 1, 2026 through March 12th, 2026. This requested is limited to correspondence exclusively between board members. So, yeah, and like with that, so if I'm copied on that, is that, I guess with that, that's not exclusively the board members, because I'm copied on that. I don't know if, like on his end, if he doesn't want those records, maybe if you ask that clarification, then I would just, maybe just waive everything. I'm not sure, because I'm copied on a bunch of stuff sometimes,
Right.
like an email between board members. So however the board wants to handle it, I'm fine. I'm fine with reducing, with, I don't even care if you eliminate it. I'm not trying to run up with unnecessary costs on the township. It's just, I feel like we're at the point where maybe we need to get it figured out with how the cost estimate is being handled and try to do this as efficiently as possible.
Mhm.
I do think the cost estimate was good faith, but again, I'm willing to work with that to, you know, for the township and for requester, and that's for any requester. Yeah, I try to treat everybody the same. I think I'm not gonna treat one person differently than another. So,
I have a couple questions. The $600 VC3, is that in our contract that that's a flat rate no matter what? Because if it is, we need to revisit that.
So, it was never brought up until the last FOIA. That $600 came up, and
But we've had FOIAs before, that never was.
no
an
one
issue.
has asked for
Emails.
emails.
Gotcha, okay,
That's the difference.
okay. Thank you.
I don't know where that number comes from. That was just a flat rate that I think Joyce was
It's
providing.
$212 an hour.
And then they just flat rated at 3 hours or something.
Oh, 212 per hour.
$212 per
Charge.
hour.
Okay, so that's how they do it, I guess.
Right. So depending on how long it takes them to pull, it could be less, but,
Yeah, and I don't know what goes in on their end as far as what, you know, what it takes to pull records, to compile it, I don't really know that, how they do it, but that's just a cost that they're charging.
Yeah.
So,
My other question, Joya, you are our FOIA coordinator, right?
yes.
Okay, so with what I'm getting from here, and I just seen all this, it's the 247.14 total?
Yeah.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, with you being FOIA coordinator, and we need to verify with Mr. Heikela as well. If you are able to redact them and then the attorney overlooks them quickly, right, that's gonna eliminate some cost. If you start doing that here in office, and then the attorney can look at them to see if there's more redactions needed. Because if it's basic emails, it's basic redactions, right? Unless you're
Yeah,
addressed on there.
right, and
Is that
if
correct?
I'm addressed, that's not necessarily gonna be covered by privilege.
Right.
Right, like, it'd be,
Mhm.
right,
But that would be more where we would need a lot of redactions
Yeah.
if it's attorney
yeah.
by
I mean,
privilege.
that could, Joyce, you comfortable with doing that?
Yes, I could, I mean, yes.
Okay,
Okay, and then Seth could double check it just to
Yeah.
make sure.
yeah, I
But-
think go ahead.
How would everybody come in and bring their computers or their phones? I mean, how is that?
Well, the records need to be compiled, however that works.
Mhm.
You know, probably VC3 is gonna be most of that. I don't know, I have no idea if there's text messages or things like that, but if it's all emails, VC3 should be able to compile all that. So you're gonna get hit with a $600 cost from DC3, which is not part of any cost estimate. That's just a township, that's a township expense. And then Joyce, once you get those emails, if you're able to go through and redact what you think should be redacted, shoot it over to me, like, yeah, I think that would definitely be more.
And it would be less
cost
cost effective, it would be, more cost effective, I think, to,
Yeah, and like I said, the FOIA statute does allow for the supervisor just to administratively, handle something.
so that the supervisor or the clerk.
It'd be the supervisor.
Okay.
Who would do it. So, it'd be the same process. It would be essentially the same process. It wouldn't be the special meeting. As soon as Joyce were to get the emails, you would look at redactions, I would confirm it, and then Randy would just be, it'd be more of a discussion, I give him whatever my opinion is, but it'd be more of a discussion with him and Adam to figure out, or what the requester is, to say, okay, like this took, X amount of time, this fee is too low, or this fee is too high, and it just make everything a lot quicker,
Yeah,
right?
But that's changing our policy, correct?
Yeah, that's a change of policy. You can't do that today, but that would be a change of policy. So that's something maybe, I don't know if you're interested in it, but that would be a discussion for like a board meeting, not right now. We're just doing this right now.
okay.
But, given the direction, like if we think that would be more cost effective, to have Joyce redact it and then send it over to me, then if you want to do that, if you want to start that right now, it's going to be a lot less. Okay.
And it would be more fair for anybody that wanted a
Yeah,
FOIA to be able to get
That type
them.
of thing does vary from township to township, but that's really gonna be tied to more how comfortable the FOIA coordinator is doing it. Some of them just aren't, Joyce, I think you've been doing it, so maybe you are more, more comfortable. And, I'm happy to work with you on that.
Okay. To redact, yes.
Right, even like, I taught an employee this week, and part of that is cost estimate, and I get all different opinions from townships, and my side is like, don't use it as a block. It's not the purpose of it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
So again, I know what the cost estimate is here. I'm happy to bring that down to the point where, well, it's gonna be your decision, but I have no objection if you wanted to bring it down again to, to the limit where he wouldn't have to post a deposit, and then, I'll just do it. Yeah, it's not a problem. Because I have one of the other attorneys who will just do the redactions or confirm it with Joyce. I'm just trying to get this done for the township as easiest way possible.
Do we have, Joyce, may I ask, do we have like hourly for you, what this would cost? Do we
It's the
have
lowest
anything? Lowest paid, okay. Okay, okay.
And if there's not a lot of emails, it's probably not gonna take her. It's just, she just needs to get the records and I guess figure that out,
Yep.
So.
Perfect.
Well, I have questions and a problem with if there was only 3 emails or there was 300 emails. And if this is, just happens that, Mr. Heichler is the one who requests, but it could be anybody. How do we go about if somebody requests from today to last October?
Yeah, that does happen. So, and in that case, given the size, our office would do the good faith cost estimate. If it's over $50, then the requester has to pay half. Okay, once they pay half, that's when you start to compile all the records. And then when you go through it, that would be when the total cost is whatever it is, based on the calculations. And then that if there's a balance, they would have to pay the rest of it, because the estimate's just that, it's an estimate. So, for example, if the cost estimate came in at 300 and a requester put down the 150, then that's when we actually start, when all the records going through it. And if it turns out, at the end of that, it's like 3 times more, then they would have to pay, the balance to pay the records. So, that's how that would be, could be addressed, Randy. Boys tough. You're not gonna recoup all of your costs, and then boys not eating all the time.
We're put in a position, all the townships or whoever the government entity is. So a person just comes in periodically and requests all email. documents is one thing, but you start talking about emails and phone calls, which is different technology. They can just do that at whim every month. And then you could end up paying $1,000 every month. Just somebody just has a notion, I'm gonna go down and request that. I mean, there's gotta be something we gotta be able to do in the near future to address the situation with the technology. We don't have anything right now. And maybe all townships don't, but there's gotta be some way to look at that. People can request it every month.
Yeah, okay.
And so you're plugged for $600 a month or more.
Gotta be
Or
a
more.
different process to retrieve emails.
Right, and
Right,
that's
that's-
maybe something we could visit.
That's what part of your problem is the upfront cost, just to even get the records.
Yeah.
Cause they're quoting you, my understanding is they're quoting you that $600 flat rate per request. If they have the full emails, that.
Could you,
Yes, I mean, this is our second time, so.
could you give us now the breakdown of what the costs are and how we come to this amount?
This, Seth did the cost estimate.
Yeah, my office. Cost.
Okay, could you,
That's typically based on what we think is, especially with, like in the past, there have been a lot of like records that were produced to us. And we typically see, based on that, based on other experiences of similar requests, that's where that number got.
okay, let me ask you, what I'm saying is, this particular FOIA, we're talking about $600, right?
That's for
Estimate,
BC3.
estimate.
No, that's BC3.
47.
That has nothing to do with the cost estimate. That's just an expense you're taking.
Oh, okay, this number, 247.
Yes.
So the VC3 it don't come into play any other way. That's just automatically tag on anything the FOIA is.
Yeah, and I think, yes.
For emails.
And I think sometimes like when you're incurring that as an expense, regardless of the size of the request. Right, that's when I see a little bit, well, okay, we're already having $600, now there's additional costs that we're gonna incur as well, because cost estimate itself not always reflects what the actual cost is in township regarding how much it costs to.
But the fee assessment should be a wash. It should be just what it
The
costs.
assessment has to be actual cost, it
Right.
cannot be more,
Correct,
it can't be more.
correct.
Quick comment before then we go on. To change our policy to where the supervisor could have resolved it. I like that to a certain extent. And probably this supervisor will always be leaning towards making it as easy as possible. I always believe that when somebody requests FOIA because, and I'm not new, this is not grandstanding, I always say, if I can give it, come on, get it. I try to make it as easy as possible. I think all citizens should be able to do that. But if that person's decisions are going to be questioned to the fact that you put the supervisor in a position, well, why'd you do this, and how if your decision process is questioned, and then it may be if they don't have the confidence in that person, the supervisor might not be me, but if you don't have the full confidence in it, it may be beneficial for some boards to just stay the process that they have so that everybody's included.
And that's exactly what I see, right? Like you get like someone who takes the approach of you and it works. And then sometimes what you'll see is like the exact opposite. And other times you'll see it where it's reduced or eliminated, and then it turns out to be an absolute huge request to the township. That's like I said, it's a policy decision. There's just, I think I probably brought up for the first time in more detail today, so it's probably something maybe if you're interested in.
Maybe next board
Maybe
meeting,
think
we can
about it, yeah.
talk about it. Mhm.
Okay. So what do we want to do, board?
Well, I would, if you're asking, I would suggest that we revisit the the fee estimate and see if, our pre-screening, pre-redaction of the materials would then, decrease this $247, to a lower amount. And then we present that amount. I'm all for streamlining the efficiency.
So that's why maybe we can make a decision today on that number.
Well, so.
And
you have
then-
three, under the statute, there's three options. Okay, you can either uphold, reduce, or waive. Okay, so.
Okay.
Right.
So that's what, but again, like, it's like last time, like, I know there's, like, we have to get it figured out. I think the board has some things to figure out. Given those three options, again, I have no objection if you wanna waive again, my firm will just do it. Until you could figure out a better process that maybe works for the township, because
Okay.
you're getting.
Well, should
I
we
mean,
just
you're-
waive it then? Is that what you think? And then moving forward?
$600 from right off the top, like, this isn't, on our end, it's not costing, it's not gonna cost that.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And like, it's like. It's,
Well, and I do think that, I'm okay with reducing like a lot, but I think if we keep waiving, we're setting a precedent to everybody that's filing a FOIA.
Right.
That they're gonna think that we're gonna waive it every single time. And again, I have no problem lowering this a lot lower to get through that, but I just don't wanna set a precedence for that.
What is 3 hours at our,
$27 an hour.
So that's $81. Is that right? Yeah.
so I would propose that we reduce the cost to the, citizen to $81.
I'm good with that. I just, like I said, I don't wanna do that precedent, but.
But I think moving forward, we need to have
Absolutely.
something in place.
And that maybe our next board meeting, we can get that on the agenda and
Right.
come back with some stuff.
yeah, and what was the number again? I heard $81 and what was the?
It was just 81, is it 81?
27,
27 an hour.
27 an hour.
So,
27 even.
$27 a month.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was an even number.
Times three.
So we have to give a reason for that, and I think maybe sort of the catch-all is in public interest. 'Cause
Mhm.
You're.
Yeah. God, I guess we need to.
motion.
I make the motion that we reduce the FOIA, assessment to $81, which reflects, 3 hours as estimated at the cost of our, lowest paid employee.
I'll support.
Roll call.
Trustee Hoskins,
Yes.
Treasurer Davis,
Yes.
Clerk Bronco, yes. Trustee Blanchard,
Yes.
Trustee McKay,
Yes.
Supervisor Johnson,
Yes.
6 yes, motion carried.
Well, that's been passed, so no further discussion on that issue. Mr. Heiko, if that's what you feel, that to be $81. And, move along to, public comment. Well, I'm not, anybody else want to say?
Thank you for reducing the fee.
Any board members got comment? Okay, before I close it up, I got a comment. We should make this, the most important issue to get a month to talk about this. Because under ordinary circumstances, to go into files and pull out documents. Pretty simple function. Getting emails off of phones and getting conversations. I think we got a FOIA. Somebody wanted conversations. That's technology beyond the everyday people that's just sitting here. And if you guys know how to do it, I sure be interested in learning how you will do it. So we have to really put this to work.
Yeah, and all of us can help. I mean, I don't have a problem with that as far as if we are trained. You know, because we can do it even after we work full 40 hours, but even after work, we could come in and help pull if we need to.
Well, I think with the email, you pretty much, yeah, you have to let them do it because you're gonna have people come in and say, well, how do I know you gave us everything?
Correct.
So, I mean,
And I think Cody was actually able to pull a lot of them. But
Yeah.
then when I talked to him, he says, he said, I'm not sure. And I think that's what prompted the,
He had pulled them from his computer.
right. So I think he probably got some of it, but then he said he wasn't sure and that's what prompted going.
Yeah.
So, and, you know, like if someone makes the request, you gotta give them a record. You don't wanna give them something this time.
Right.
Yeah, and as swiftly as possible as well.
Well, that's something to think about. Our phone calls are something to think. Phone calls, as far as I'm concerned, should be easy because everybody has a business phone. And personally, if somebody asks me right now for the phone, they don't need a FOIA or nothing like that. I give them the phone, go through it. That's what they're for.
Yeah.
So,
Great.
given that, I move for adjournment. Time is it?
Pretty good.
10:31, adjourned.